funding strategies to achieve universal health coverages.
Yeah, Victor, and as international support declines, there is a greater need for countries to take ownership of their health financing through domestic resource mobilization and improved financial management. That's our focus on Good Morning Nigeria today. I'm Henry John. Many thanks for joining us.
And I am Victor Azu. We welcome you to the program. And in a bit, we'll be having Chukwudi Okoli-Obaja join us for the newspaper review. But now, Musa Abubakar is standing by with the morning news. Good morning, Musa.
Good morning to the both of you. Here's the news. President Bola Tinubu has begun working vacation in Europe as part of his 2025 annual leave. The president left Abuja yesterday afternoon. The president will spend 10 working days between France and the UK. While the president is away, Vice President Kashim Shettima has been engaging with key stakeholders on economic development. He received delegations from the Nigerian Economic Society and the Nigerian Institute of Architects at the Presidential Villa. The Vice President reiterated the federal government's commitment to diversifying the nation's economy and standardizing the country's architectural framework.
It's one thing to understand the issues at stake. Taking those painful decisions is another ball game altogether new. You can discuss with us on how to ensure macroeconomic stability, because knowledge is not something you can buy in the market square. You have to acquire it.
Ceremony in Abuja, reaffirming the government's commitment to creating decent jobs and sustaining industrial harmony. This move further underscores the administration's focus on addressing unemployment and promoting economic growth.
To organize private sector, we invite you to absorb, mentor, and support these trainees, because the true measure of success of
the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas, PICNG, has issued a statement urging the public to disregard reports suggesting that the federal government has increased CNG prices or removed subsidies. A statement by Matilda Johnson, Branch and Corporate Communications Manager, PICNG, reiterates that no directive or policy has been issued by the federal government to alter CNG pump prices. While pricing matters fall under the purview of the appropriate regulatory agencies, the mandate of PICNG, as directed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is to catalyze the development of the CNG mobility market and ensure the adoption of a cheaper, cleaner, and more sustainable alternative. The National Health Financing Dialogue has concluded with a commitment to reduce out-of-pocket healthcare spending and increase government health spending in the national budget, prioritizing smart health financing as a national economic priority.
By the special grace of God, I will be turning 65 years old on the 21st September 2025. And this happens to be a Sunday. This is why I have decided to dedicate the day to God for all His blessings in my life and having a quiet birthday. I wish to appeal to those who would like to send a birthday card, cakes, flowers, greetings in the newspapers, or gifts. Should please send the funds to the designated account for a special project close to my heart, among many others.
Milo 3-in-1 is such a smart choice. Milo, energy energy to go further.
From Nestle.
Have you been aspiring to be a student of the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University Zaria to no avail? Worry no more, as you can gain entry through NTA Television College Jos, an affiliate of the renowned Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, where eligible candidates with a JAMB admissible scores of not less than 180 and 100 scores, and with 5 credits O-level in social sciences including English and mathematics, can turn their passion in broadcasting to profession by applying for a BSc in Mass Communication and MBTE approved innovation diploma courses in film and television production, broadcast journalism and television engineering respectively. The college, as a training herb with a pedigree of professionalism in the media space, also offers specialized courses in other related fields. .edu.ng or contact 08033-834-343 and 08069-809-897. Announcer Management.
Are you ready? Join us on Reshaping Democracy, a groundbreaking program on the network service of the NTA, where citizens get the chance to ask ministers, heads of ministerial departments, agencies, and other top government officials questions on their performance and delivery of mandates. With no sector of limits, conversations build around bridging communication gaps for feedback and effect as our guests engage with the people they serve.
On NTA. Super Eagles, it's time.
All right, we thank you very much for staying with us. Up next is the newspaper review.
All of that. And below the picture story, we have police invite El-Rufai, ADC leaders over alleged criminal conspiracy. Some other stories below: couple's death, how we operate. That's coming from a surviving tout. Not a good story. Page 6 has that. And Sultan 6 end to insecurity. That's on page. And finally, tax law. Nigerians to pay additional 45 naira per litre of petrol. Okay, that's count over vacant embassies. UN suspends masthead. PDP accuses Edo government of wasting 4.2 billion naira on SUVs. Government denies allegations. All right, you want to find out what's happening in Edo? Page 2 will help you see all of that. And Dangote Refinery petrol unit offline due to catalyst leaks. Repairs the last 2 weeks. All right. That's on page 2, update on the Dangote Refinery right there. Below the picture story, fresh bank shares may weaken EPS despite sector growth, according to analysts. And finally, from the Business NG this morning, we have right here, Nigeria hits 20.59 trillion naira revenue in 8 months. Non-oil accounts for 76%. All right, Victor.
Thank you, Yembre. And I have the Leadership Friday here. The lead story reads, Northern governors back Tinubu's renewed push for state police. Arewa Consultative Forum, Afenifere Middle Belt Forum also support President's resolve. That story is on page 4. And just below that, a tiny strip. After family of 3 tragic deaths, Abuja Council moves against doubts. It's on page 22. And the picture story details Super Eagles in training ahead of the World Cup qualifying game between the Super Eagles and the Amavubi of Rwanda. All right, and besides that, please invite El-Rufai, 6 other ADC leaders for questioning. You can get details of that on page 27. And in fashion, Italian fashion icon Giorgio Armani dies at 91. It's on page 7. And for the rest of the story, Death toll from Niger, both accident hits 31 is on page 6. Wike unveils 50% fertilizer subsidy for Abuja farmers is on page 22. And flood alerts issued to 9 northern, 5 southern states is on page 10. And finally, before we go 2027, resurrecting zoning is regressive. Olawipo Hashim support groups warn of looming consequences as Hashim vows to contest presidency. You get details on page 7. Chugode.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. We mentioned the revenue coming into government in 8 months, which is said was a good thing. And we also, I think yesterday, mentioned that there would even be more revenue from January when the new tax laws kick in. Government is going to get more revenue. Because what is happening now is that government is trying to let you know that it's not crude oil that gives the most revenue to government. In countries like Germany, UK, US, and there is taxation. That's where we're moving to.
So the taxation on petrol?
Let me finish. I knew you would run there. Your car will be fueled. Yeah. So it is modernizing the tax system. What Nigerians say is, are we as well placed as these people to bear a tax burden that some fear would kick in January? Government still has a lot of public relations, the gap, and all that. Government feels that the price of petrol has steadied. You know, about 3 weeks ago, you said that there was I said, no. We have got to a level where petrol price cannot go beyond 1,000 anymore. That I can tell you, even though I'm not an economist. Good. So government is taxing whatever can be taxed. The point is, how much are Nigerians just recurrent recurrent expenditure ability? We need capital projects ability and all that. It can only come from revenue. It is the information you put out. What are people doing? Carry people along. What are those who work for government doing to let people know what the intention is?
But another question I have is, was this included, is this part of the 4 tax bills that was signed earlier this year? But you see, at the time the discussion about the tax bills, were on, this didn't come to light.
Didn't come up, yeah.
There are things that will come to light from January. You see, look, I said something.
So it's law.
I said something 2 weeks ago or last week. I said, where Lagos started the rebound and the economy of Lagos grew, it started from the Tinubu administration. It's taxation. I said I did a short documentary for somebody who was part of that taxation system, where leaders of markets in Lagos got cars and encouraged people to pay tax, and they said they were saying what they were paying tax for. It's still the same model at the national level. So if it has worked for Lagos, Nigerians should at least said it more than a year ago. Whatever anyone does, those doubting Thomases and all that would eventually find out that when the state police comes, it's going to be to the benefit of everybody. It's not against any particular section of the country. It is that a governor can say, hey, I hear there's trouble there. And the man in charge of the police would take action immediately in the state and let federal things be reserved for federal for the sake of being afraid. It was a military They can't have a field day.
Let's give you the rest of the day to begin tackling these issues. We thank you very much for your time. We'll see you again on Monday. Good Morning Nigeria will return after this break. Please stay with us.
by the
Impact for 72-hour antibacterial sweat protection.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, the land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying demand. We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we are more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, we are Nigeria, strengthening.
Citizen Trust. Today on Good Morning Nigeria, health financing experts, policy leaders, and sector professionals will discuss how to turn ambition into action and how to build a system where no Nigerian is denied care simply because they cannot afford to pay.
Many thanks, Ibrahim Dan Hamido, for that beautiful package, of course, which sets the tone for our conversation this morning on health financing in Nigeria. And we have with us the pleasure to have the Honorable, if you like, I should say Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And also here for the conversation is Professor John Eli Ojo Atuguba. He is Canada Research Chair in Health Economics at the University of Manitoba, Canada, and Executive Director, African Health Economics and Policy Association, Accra. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
It's a pleasure.
The fiscal policy reform, the tax bill, the tax law, for instance, with the revenues that we're seeing increasing dramatically, that is what will allow us to then make healthcare more affordable to Nigerians. So it's all sort of interconnected. And over time, what we hope is that basic healthcare be available to all Nigerians, regardless of where they live or their income, their gender, or their age. This is non-communicable diseases. And then they subscribe to private insurance or to use private insurance as a complement. So what has happened in the last few days is that the president mandated all MDAs to insure their workers, but also all compliance bodies to ensure that those who interact with the federal government also insure their employees. It's signaling this direction to expand the risk pool, so that the wider the risk pool, the wider the insurance pool or the contributory scheme, the easier it will be for Nigerians to access healthcare when they need it. And they will then access the healthcare earlier. Social capital that we will harness from that will only propel us forward. And that is the consensus that I believe was lacking for a very long time until we saw the leadership of this president.
All right, brilliant, Professor Pate. I mean, you've talked about the
health is something that affects everyone. If there's one thing that should unify Nigerians, in fact, it's health, because there's no one who is immune to the risk of ill health, or their families, or their neighbors. And so that consensus ought to have been formed. It wasn't. And the prevalent narrative among elites is to look down and say, oh, things are not getting better, things are bad all the time. But it is possible, it is us, Nigerians, that would have to forge that consensus that we can do it, and we can fix it, and we begin to fix it. Have we fixed all of it? No. Do we have enough resources? No. But we have started on a path that if we sustain it over time, and each one of us does their own part, then we will get the health.
I'd ask the question about finance, which is what all of this is all about. The new taxes on tobacco, the new taxes on sugar, is it also part of it? And is it enough? Because indeed, finance is everything. Even if you talk about the shortage of manpower, it is because they feel they are not getting a fair deal that they are leaving. And so if we're able to keep them, it will also require more financing for them. So does this suffice? Sugar, tobacco?